Evolution of IT infrastructure.
Mainframes and mini-computer ERA. A mainframe computer, informally called a mainframe or big iron, is a computer used primarily by a large organization for critical application, bulk data processing such as the census and industry and consumer statistics, enterprise resource planning, and large-scale transaction processing. A mainframe computer is larger and has more processing power than some other classes of computers, such as mini-computer servers, workstations, and personal computers. Most large-scale computer systems are categories, were established in the 1960s, but they continue to evolve. Mainframe computers are often used as servers. Personal Computer ERA. On this day in 1981, IBM launched the personal computer revealed at a press conference at Waldorf Astoria in New York City. 21-pound PC cost $1,565, playing games and word processors. While IBM wasn't the first or only company with a personal computer on market, the Apple II was launched in 1977. It kick-started the home computer revolution. A year later, the personal computer was selected as Time magazine's Man at the Year, or rather a machine. Fast forward 30 years and the IBM personal computer in a relic from another ERA, almost unrecognizable in comparison to the sleek devices on which we compute today. From those earliest machine-based to personal computer, take a look through the gallery. Client server ERA. The client server model described how a server provides resources and services and file servers, such as desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. When a client requests a connection to a server, the server can either accept or reject the connection. If the connection is accepted, the server establishes and maintains a connection with the client over a specific protocol. For example, an email client may request an SMTP connection to a mail server in order to send a message. The SMTP application on the mail server will then request authentication from the client, such as the email address and password. If these credentials match on account on the mail server, the server will send the email to the intended recipient.
Now we will talk about the first point that called enterprise computing era. In the early 1990s, firms turned to networking standards and software tools that could integrate disparate networks and applications throughout the firm into an enterprise-wide infrastructure. As the internet developed into a trusted communications environment after 1995, business firms began seriously using the Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol, TCP or IP, networking standard to tie their disparate networks together. The fifth point we will talk about is the cloud computing. Firstly, what is IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service, mean? Infrastructure as a Service, commonly referred to as simply IaaS, is a form of cloud computing that delivers fundamental compute, network, and storage resources to consumer on demand, over the internet, and on a pay-as-you-go basis. IaaS enable end users to scale and shrink the resource on an as-needed basis, reducing the need for high upfront capital expenditure or unnecessary owned infrastructure, especially in the case of spiky workloads. In contrast to PaaS and SaaS, IaaS provides the lowest level control to resource in the cloud. And the lower graph illustrates what I said. And this is the first type of services in the cloud computing. Now we will know what is PaaS, Platform as a Service, mean. PaaS, or Platform as a Service, is a cloud computing model that provides a customer a complete platform, hardware, software, and infrastructure for developing, running, and managing applications without the cost, complexity, and inflexibility of building and maintaining the platform on premises. The PaaS provider hosts everything: servers, networks, storage, operating system, software, database at their data center. The customer uses it all for a monthly fee based on usage and can purchase more resources on demand as needed. In the way, PaaS lets your development teams to build, test, deploy, maintain, update, and scale application, and to innovate in response to market opportunities and threats much more quickly and less expensively than they could if you had to build out and manage your own on-premises platform. And this is the second type of services in the cloud computing. Now we will talk about the last type of services in the cloud computing, which is called SaaS, or Software as a Service. What makes these SaaS? They are all cloud applications, which means that the most of the storage and processing takes place on computers called services, owned by Google, Facebook, or IBM. Then when you connect to them, you use a fairly simple and common client, often a web browser, to access the services and interact with it. It often doesn't matter if the browser is on a PC, a Mac, iPhone, Pebble smartwatch, or any other kind of computer, because SaaS makes the same cloud-based services available on a multitude of devices. And thank you for watching.